Okay, we're back in our Pro Builder levels. Let me jump over to Canvas here and kind of give you a preview of what we're doing this week. So we'll start with our Pro Builder stuff. I lost this level. I couldn't find it from last year. I really miss it. So we'll just move on. So we'll start with something that kind of came up over the Discord last night. Something that tracks. So Talon was wanting to build a turret that would track the player. This might be the easiest bit of code in the world once you know what it is. And so I'll do something that will look like it's always looking at our player. We'll do some things to it, and then we can use that maybe either later on today or Thursday and apply that same thing to a security camera. So we'll set up a security camera in our world that'll just like always be tracking the player. Fun stuff. Then we'll look at, for level 1 of our project, we'll do some split screen gaming. So that's why I wanted you to bring your controller in. We can do it with the keyboard for now. We'll play with the controllers on Thursday. We're going to add a second player to the world and do a split screen. And then what I want to do is take that even further, and we'll put cameras for 2 of our nav mesh. So we'll have 2 players and 2 AI things. We'll have a four-way split screen. It'll look like we're doing GoldenEye on the Nintendo 64. Chaz and I will feel really happy about life. And the rest of you be like, that looks like Pong. And then we'll just like be upset because you're so young. And then what we're going to get to is either today or Thursday, we'll use a camera to create a HUD, a mini map, which is fun. And then finally, back to that security camera, we will set up a camera in our world that displays on some screen somewhere. And so this can be on a security monitor. Here I've got it on a giant like screen. You could set it up to have, your player's got a smartphone and we can view something from another camera on that. I think what I want to try to do is maybe show some other stuff happening in the world on the view screen of my starship. So it's all going to be canvases and cameras. But first, turrets that track. So this code, I think I've alluded to it a couple times in the past, but here it is. It's super cool, super easy. On update for the thing I'm on, look at this other thing. Look at it. Z forward of whatever your thing is. So your pivot points have to be on point. But then just in the update, look at, and it's super easy. So let me add something here in our level, and we'll make it super creepy if we can. So I've got some prefabs here. I'll drag this treasure chest out. And the number one way to know that a treasure chest is a mimic is it's watching you. He's already set up, right? So we'll just have him sitting up here, right? The Z is forward for this particular model already. So his eyes are at the lock. So this is going to kind of work out for him. I will just add, I've already written the script, so I'm cheating a little bit. But I'm going to add look at player. And we'll do some stuff to this. And here's the script. I can add more to it. I'm definitely going to add more to it here in a sec. But basic, right? I'm handing it a transform and saying, here's your target. And on update, I'm saying, look at the target. Look at me. There are things we can do. Okay. So this one's kind of funny. We'll start with this one first, right? I'm gonna hand it my player. I'm just gonna say, look at the target. And so right now it's gonna be a scary mimic that doesn't open his mouth. But you can imagine that we can set this up on security cameras later. So he's all good to go. Just need to go back to Unity, find my player, and just say, there's your transform. So this treasure chest will always look at this player. There's some caveats to this. Oh, of course, we're going to take forever to load the scripts. All right. Where's he at? Yeah, he basically billboards. Yeah. And so Right now, though, he'll look all over the place. He'll look up, he'll look down. So it's a really, really good security camera. Ah! Forgot about that guy. Right? But you put that on anything. And so kind of don't even, if he's stationary, we don't even need a, get away from me. That's another thing. So going back to last week's while we're here, if your nav mesh agent is too fast, he'll just keep like spiraling around you. He'll overshoot you and he'll come back and it'll look like Jaws or something. He'll just keep circling you. Anyway, so that's look at. We could set up some stuff on him, right? We could put a timer on him, and this is a turret. In every 5 seconds, we shoot a bullet if we see the player. Did that guy just ran me over? He did. What a jerk. Raycast would work. We could, right? I could give this guy a sphere collider that's really, really big. Boy, LOD group, give me my access to my stuff. So there we go. So I can say, all right, that's not very big, but I can make that this collider a trigger, and then only when the player is inside the trigger will we look at it, right? So we're not like totally omnipotent and just can see across the world. So we could do that, right? So I could say, hey, make this collider a trigger. When on trigger enter or on trigger stay, players in there, then we look at them. Otherwise, go back to pointing down or whatever. If it was a camera, there's lots of things we can do. Same thing, right? So with some kind of collider around it, or a raycast. Raycast will go until they hit something. But unless you give them, and we're going to get to raycast in a few weeks officially, but unless you give them a distance, the raycast can shoot Pluto from here. It doesn't. It shouldn't pass through. So I shouldn't be able to see you. It. Did you have? Did the? Is what you're looking for? Is it looking for a collider or a rigid body? You might be looking for a rigid body. We'll get there. We'll get there. Yeah, layer masks also a good way to do it. We're going to get to that with some other stuff. Anyway, look at is a good thing to do. Let me go ahead and just change this up here. So rather than have this thing completely just staring us down wherever we're at, like this thing tilts and moves all over the place, we can give it, just do that. Thank you. Can I tab? I don't want vector 2, vector 3, dot. All right, let me go back to my thing. 0. Yeah, so vector 3 dot. Okay, so this is going to limit it so it's not rotating on all axes. And so if I say just stay up, I wasn't sure if Visual Studio was going to enter the right code for me. So I'm saying look at the target, but like also keep yourself positioned this way, I believe. And so, 100 ways to do anything, which is the frustration and the kind of the blessing of all of this. So here we go. Maybe not. Oh. So part of what you could do that for, and if you look at the script here, and if I'd use this other part of it, we can use these, the thing to look at, and then this other stuff. it specifies the upward direction. So if my pivot was wrong, or I wanted my treasure chest to look dumb and be sideways, like I could give it something different. So here's part of the original code. They said vector 3 left, right? And so if I put that in, no, this is just the one of the easier ones. This guy's super goofy. Here we go. Now he's just going to be like sideways and derpy. And so basically with that last parameter that I entered in, I kind of changed the treasure chests or the cameras or whatever we're looking at, his pivot point, and how he moves gets really goofy. Yeah. So, yeah, wanted to look at that, give us some ideas. We're definitely going to come back to this for security cameras and things like that. They can track us through the world. But let's get to multiplayer. How many scripts do we need for this? We might need a new one for input on the second player. All right, let's look at this. So we've got level 1 here. You save whatever dumb stuff I did. We should have only one camera in the scene. If I select the camera, we can see where it's at. It's looking from here. What if I add a second player? So we go to my prefabs, find my players, and we'll just put this guy over here in this zone. So he's hanging out here over in Redland, just to keep things fun. We'll put this guy over here on the blue, rotate him around. They should be looking at each other. All right, so first guy is on the blue. He's looking at the red. Where'd my guy go? I'm going to put these guys together. Together. There we go. And he's on the red looking at the blue. So I've got two different cameras in the world. They're both tagged main camera, which might be okay for what we're doing. But I need them to split screen. And that's all right here in the viewport rect. Easy peasy. So the first player, we're going to give him the first part of the screen. And so we will have him start at 0, 0, but he's only going to go 0.5 the width. So we've got that going. Come over here to game, I can see, here's the first guy. The second camera is still trying to cover all of this because we haven't give it a half screen yet. So we've got them overlaying each other. It probably will. And so for main camera 2, I'm going to come over here and same thing. I'm going to give him half the width and start him halfway over. So 0.5 there, 0.5 there. Split screen gaming. Easy peasy. The hardest part's going to be giving them different controls. So we can just switch that up right now. I've got 2 cameras, 2 players, 1 set of input, and they're all just walking around. Yeah, and but they're getting like different results because this guy can walk over here. No, I was controlling. Well, I mean, I'm controlling both of them at the same time. That's part of the weirdness of this. Oh yeah. So I've got this guy going, and so what I want to do, just to complete this whole experience here, is we'll just take this guy and give him a slightly different set of controls. So we're going to look at input manager just a little bit. So let me look at this guy first. So he's got player movement. Let's pull that script up. He's all looking good. He's tying into horizontal, vertical, and jump. And then we're also getting, where's it at? Oh, fire is on the other thing. So that's going to be another set of scripts to duplicate. we could do some stuff in here and say, are you player one, are you player two? You're going to get this input. Let's just copy the script and give them a different script. So come in here, just copy all this. And for player two, I'm just going to go ahead and call him player two. I'll remove the player movement script. I guess we got fire on all the guns, don't we? So that's where we're going to have some fun. And we'll give him a new script, and it'll be just player two movement. And we wait. Probably, yeah. Yeah, so we're going to have to come up with keys for all of these. So come in here. Different tags. Yeah, we can add more tags. Yep. So this is player two movement, so that's going to match. And everything can stay the same. Mostly, we may have to come up with different shift keys. So for now, I don't have a charged controller, so I'm going to come up with new aliases for stuff in the input manager, and give them different keys. So we'll just call this horizontal 2, vertical 2, and jump 2. Okay, we just made up brand new things that don't exist. This script's not going to work until we go make those new input aliases. So I'm going to save this, go back to Unity, wait for this to compile. I'm not sure what you did for your inventory system, so I'm like, yeah. If it's a real multiplayer game, we can't do that, and so that's all your inventory and weapon switching, while the other players still got their controller and they're still walking around. You either have to pause the game for everyone, or you're just going to have to be really quick with your inventory while Cooper's running up behind you with his toaster. Be really quick. I'm going to go to project settings and to my input manager. So we've got doubles on most of our stuff already. So we've got horizontal, which is set to left and right and A and D. We probably don't want both of those in there. We'll change it out. And we got another horizontal down here, same alias, and it's looking for joystick movement. So we could just call this guy horizontal 2, and he's only looking for joystick movement. And we're going to do this with vertical. We're going to call him vertical 2 and change his name. So much easier than actually changing your legal name. It takes a lot of work. You got to go to court, get a lawyer. It's a whole deal. And jump 2. So right now, if you had your controller and it was all working, it would only be looking for the joystick. The other guy's looking for all the keyboard stuff. Everything's going to work. Right now, I have got only a keyboard. So I'm going to go break my other stuff to fix the other stuff. So I'm going to say this guy is going to use A and D, and we don't need the alternates. And so he's WASD guy for horizontal. Vertical is going to be looks like it, maybe. Yeah, they're still getting joystick numbers, axes. And then the jump. So WASD is still using, that guy's still using space. So we'll come down here to horizontal. So A, so left. All right. Mapping it up is the fun part. So he's going to be What? Okay, now I've got to figure out how to type in left arrow. You know, I'll use the number pad. There we go. Number pad's going to work for me. If you have a number pad on your laptop, this is going to work out really good. If you don't, Chaz, what was that? Like a $10 or whatever? You can get a number pad to go with your laptop and make life easier on a lot of different fronts. Makes life easier in Blender. Makes life easier if you're trying to do multiplayer with one keyboard without being the NCIS crazies. Fun stuff. So up is going to be, wait, that's, nope. Down, positive is going to be this. So I'm just using my number pad. So I'm typing in 4 and 6 and 8 and 2. And then for my jump, fire 3 open. For jump, I will use 0, I guess. So I've got a number pad player. So he's using jump 2, vertical 2, and horizontal 2. And so I just renamed those, gave them different things. This auto saves as I enter the stuff in. Let's see what we broke. Always inspiring words. Okay. Oh, I didn't change the mouse, so that's fun. Okay, so we'll just look this way. WASD controls player 1. Uh-oh, what's happening? And I don't seem to be getting movement for player 2. I'm trying all of that. Yeah, I tried the number row and the number pad, and he's just not getting it. So I wonder if it didn't save properly. Back. Input. I'm getting horizontal 2 and vertical 2 and jump 2. Welcome to the world of every live demo ever. Yeah, it's just not working. Let me see if there's just something else I didn't set up. Player 2 was working fine. Like his colliders and everything were just great until I gave him new controls. Oh, I didn't reset that. Yeah. So these are still set to joysticks. I just got to hit this drop down. So you're going to be key or mouse button, and then jump 2 is going to be, oh, it should already be a key or mouse button. So I don't know why that didn't work. Compare that to the other jump. Jump, key X, get motion from all joysticks, jump space, jump 2, 0. All right, we'll try it. No idea. Pay no attention to the man behind that curtain. He has no idea what he's doing. That should have worked. Totally should have worked. Look. Yeah, I'm just trying to find. Oh dear God. I turned number lock off last time when it wasn't working. So let's pretend that didn't happen. Use the input manager with the number lock on. Nope, still nothing. Oh, okay. I'm jumping and drifting with the number keys. So I think we can specify. I just put in numbers. That was probably a bad idea. I don't know why my guy's drifting.
Is it moving by itself, or are you actually
Good time to hit the documentation. Go. Joystick names, get access, get key. We could do those instead of using the aliases. Key code up arrow, key code down arrow. We could use those. Where is the... There's a list. Ah, okay. These are the numpad keys. Sweet. Let's try that. Then we'll move on. Or we'll just come back to the controls using a joystick. Because that's kind of a goofy way anyway. So we'll just try this. So WASD is totally working there. If I say you are 4 and 6 here on the numpad, I don't know what that's about. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We'll give this one last effort, and then we'll move on to adding some cameras too. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, I just didn't call it right. So 4, I don't know why I'm still drifting. I might still be getting some. Hmm.
we need to add this to scene 1 and scene 2, or should we just port the scene 2?
So here's what I would like. Scene 1, I would like to be your split screen level. Okay, so scene 1, we're already set up for this. We're going to go, I'm actually going to, in a minute, we're going to set this up to be a 4-player split screen, and then we'll get that going. So we've already got 2 levels, let's use them. And then on the second level, we'll do cool stuff with cameras like the HUDs, security cameras, things like that. So this first level, that's already goofy. I'm going to go ahead and add some more cameras in. So this skull tracker guy is about to become his own player. So I'm going to give him there we go. Camera. Where's my camera? There it is. Camera. Give him a camera. So skull tracker camera here is going to be right behind the skull. Position that a little bit. So he's got his own camera. And then dumb cowboy here is going to get his own camera. We don't want to look at his feet. So just to drive the point home on all this stuff. All right. Oh, that's what I did. I renamed this cam. So there we go. So now we have 4 cameras in the scene. Let me go fix player 1 and player 2 first. It's the same thing. So everything is a 0 to 1. We're already half height. Let's go to half. We're already half width. We'll go to half height. And so player 1 is it's starting at 0, 0, going halfway across and halfway down. Oh, and these other ones are tagged main. So let me get rid of that. I have to shrink them down. So he's set up. Turn off the cowboy cam for now. And we'll turn off the skull camera for now. There we go. Player one is, oh, 0, 0 is down here. Okay, good to know. So we want to be halfway up. So we got player one positioned. Come down to player two, and he's half and half. And then he wants to be halfway up. So we got player one and player two positioned. Turn on the skull camera. Set him again to half and half. And at 0, 0, he's already positioned. Cowboy camera will come over. And 0.5 over and 0.5 down. And I did turn it on. There we go. So 0.5 over and 0, because we're starting from 0, 0s down here. So now we got 4-player. Now, this is just cool out of the box camera stuff that Unity does. No scripts required. You want the really, really cool, like later Lego game cameras that like split the screen depending on where you're at and like zoom in. Write your own scripts. You're on your own. But for GoldenEye style 4-player split screen, let's see what nonsense we've created. Oop. Okay. It took a minute for the skull to take off. I still need to fix my. I need to come up with something else for the camera for player two, but we'll do that. We'll refine that Thursday when we have controllers hooked up and working. You can see the skull guy moving around. Cowboy's on his way somewhere. I'm just trying to defend myself here. There you go. Split screen, 4 cameras. It all works. We'll refine the player controls, but that's what we need for the first part. So let's go back here to our deal. 5 automagic points for just restarted with last week's stuff. Level 1, player 2's got their own camera, own controls, and obviously we've moved the other guy up. And then we got some more points here for 3 and 4 on our nav mesh agents. So that's all the level 1 stuff. Super silly and fun. And what I didn't even notice in there was the treasure chest that was looking at me the entire time. So we'll have some stuff in there for that. That's probably enough for now, and we'll get. Well, no, let's get into level 2. We'll do a quick HUD camera for that. The nav mesh agent, I just threw a camera behind it as a child, and he's walking around doing his things. Right, so just the camera needs to be behind him, and he's just wandering around, doing whatever he's already programmed to do. But now we can see from his point of view. And then the second player, we'll work on how to get that working better with a controller. The keys work. It's hard to get look controls for a second player when I've got 2 hands and 1 keyboard and a mouse, and it gets crazy. But we'll get the controllers working. Again, if you're planning on bringing stuff in, should be no surprise. Xbox controllers work really well with Windows computers, and I thought I was going to be in trouble when I had a MacBook as my regular, but a PlayStation controller hooks up to that super easy. Switch Pro, I think usually about the same as like a PlayStation controller. As long as they can Bluetooth to it, you're fine. And I've got, let me go back to the canvas while we're still talking about that. I've got a whole page of slightly outdated but still useful data. Hello, computer. In our module for the input manager. And so there's some instructions for gamepad input. This guy's using a switch controller. Here's how to hook your PS4 controller to your Mac. PS5 should work the same way. Xbox controller to Windows. And then I've got some mapping here, right? So these are just the default mappings for stuff we already get in the input manager. So joystick button 13 is pressing on the pad of your PS4. So we got maps here. We've got some maps here for Xbox controllers. So while you're planning that stuff out. So it's all there. If you can get that hooked up and working ahead of Thursday, that'd be great. But we'll look at changing the scripts and input manager up on Thursday for a controller. So while we've still got a little time to kill, I'm going to go ahead and save this monstrosity of a level. And we'll jump to level 2. I still don't have a lot in my level 2, so it's going to be simple. But we're going to add a second camera, and almost the same thing as we did before. We're going to make it, we're going to just give it a corner of the screen. So let me just go ahead and add a camera for now. So he's out here on his own. And we're going to call him the map camera, or whatever we're going to call him. Map cam, HUD cam. He's untagged. Huh? We're gonna use some masking. Yeah. So we'll look at how that works. All right. So I'm going to change this to an orthographic camera, and I'm going to make it a child of the player. So he's got 2 cameras following him around, basically paparazzi. I'll reset him to 0, 0, and he's just on the player right now. So we got to pull him up. And rotate him down. This is not super helpful right now. Go 90, I think. Yeah, I think I moved the wrong one too, but I'm trying to get this guy where I can see him. There we go, and that camera is definitely not looking at him properly. Yeah, yep, I rotated him wrong. There we go. So yeah, we'll rotate him on the X. Point this straight down at our guy. We've already changed him to orthographic. So we'll let 90, 0, 0, and then whatever height you want. We'll go like 10 up. So let me just set his framing. So 0, 0 is down here. We're just going to go ahead and give him a like 0.2 and 0.2 for now. Size. Let me see what that looks like over here. That's good enough for a mini map. You can go smaller. And then I will start to, you want top right? So it's cool as I can just use this little slider here. If I grab X and start pulling, Y, and thereabouts. Okay. Now, just save that. I've got instructions for myself here because I need it. It's been a minute. So we add a second camera, make it orthographic. We're going to set the depth higher than the main camera so it gets drawn over the top, because if we don't set that, it looks fine now, but we could have some Z fighting later, where suddenly the main camera decides that it's the guy in charge and we don't see it at all. We set the viewport rect, attach it to the player, and then we need to make layers and culling masks and add shapes and unlit materials and all that fun stuff. So let's just try that out. So back to Unity. Let me just go ahead and we'll set the depth of this camera up. Did I not set him to be? I sworn I named him map camera, but here we go. Something undid. All right, so he's an ortho camera, and we're going to use this. So we're going to make some culling mask layers here. Layer. I think this is the way to do it. Yeah, my brain's not working well on 4 hours of sleep. So this will be our map layer. Okay, so we're only looking at things that are on that layer. Well, we've created the layer, so let's do that. Map layer, and let's go ahead and look at the map. So that's the map. Yeah, and then we'll also put I don't know, entities, HUD. Let's call it the HUD layer for now. So we've added 2 layers. Come back to the camera, and he is only going to look at stuff on the map layer and stuff on the HUD layer. So let me go find my guy here. Bridge. He's on the default layer. I'm going to put him on the map layer. So now you can see once I added him to the map layer, my camera could see him. If I take that off, put him back on default, he can't see him. So we want this guy to see our Pro Builder map. So he can see that now.
You have 2 coexisting layers. Because for the collisions on the controller I'm using, it requires that the object is a specific layer. Well, yeah, no, but
Oh, do you want to see if this thing can be on multiple layers?
well, the way the jumping functions is using a layer. I mean, I guess you can just try to cut that way. I don't know.
Okay,
So how it's having separate layers, that's really good issue.
we'll look at that. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to break anything by moving this off to its own layer, but we'll see. And then what I really want to do is, so for the player here, I'm going to add another 3D object as a child. And so I'll just use a sphere for him. Okay, and we'll just make this the player HUD sphere. I will set him on the HUD layer. And so now that sphere shows up in our map. So it won't, right now it's the same as our player because our player is a derpy little capsule. But I'm going to add a material to him and make him different. And so I want to make sure my map camera sees those layers. It sees the HUD layer. And then my main camera, I don't want to see those. So I'm going to come over to the culling mask of my main camera and say, don't look at the HUD layer. You don't see that. Back here to my HUD sphere. He is exactly at 0, 0. It's okay that he's kind of intersecting with that. If it makes you feel better, you can raise him up a little bit. Well, yeah, so either above it or, yeah, actually, so yeah, that's a good point. So we could do this since we're an ortho camera, right? So if I'm going to go inside the turbo lift here, I still want to be able to see this guy. So now he'll follow along and be above it. He's got no collision on him, or he shouldn't. Here we go, just remove that. And I'm going to come in here and we're going to play with a new material. I guess I've got my materials in my models folder. So I'm going to create a material, and we're going to call this player HUD material. And I'm going to come up here, and instead of standard, I'm going to make him an unlit color, which means he's not getting any lighting data, no shadow, he's just a color. So he'll look much nicer on our HUD. And we're going to make him green because we're safe, right? There we go. I'm going to come over here to my HUD sphere, drag my player HUD material onto him, and now I can see I've got a green dot for myself. Let's take this just a step further. I'm going to go to my bad guy here, do the same thing. I'm going to give him a 3D object. We can use a sphere again. We can use a cube so that it makes more like it's not only a different color but a different shape. Help out our colorblind audience. We'll give him a cube, and we'll just call this enemy HUD cube so we know what it is later. He's all reset, and he is on that guy. Let me come back to my scene here. And same thing, as Matthew pointed out, we can drag this guy up so that it's going to be visible as we go inside of things. And then I'll make a new material here. So I'm going to make another material. Enemy HUD. Make him an unlit color. And we'll make him red because red means dangerous. I'm making a dark red even. Use that. Put it on here. And of course, the last thing I need to do is put this on the correct layer. So enemy HUD cube is going to be on the HUD layer. And now I should be able to see all of this. Huh? Oh, that'll be fun. Okay, I should take the collider off for sure. Let's either put rigid body on it. It's not going to come smack the guy. So we're not seeing that. All right, I don't see, in my camera, I don't see that thing floating above the bad guy robot. But in my map, I can definitely see little indicators of how close the bad guy is if I'm looking at my HUD camera. You see that? Got a green dot, we got a red square. He's coming right at me. So there's your HUD cam. Oh, this? Yeah. Yeah, for sure. We can do that.
Because whenever it walks around the rotation of the cube that changes.
We can lock the camera. Yeah, we can lock the camera's rotation. That'll help. But yeah, I see what you're saying. We could do that. I think at this point it's a feature, right? So if I can see the cube as the bad guy has got some turning, I know he's navigating. When I get rid of this, where my camera's not freaking out every time I move my mouse, that'll make life easier. And then if you just don't want to see your enemy turning, give him a sphere. That's what I would do. So let me see about taking off that collider. And then let me see what I can do with this camera. So he's going to highlight his rotation. Yeah, kind of. Kind of. That could work. So I could add a rigid body to this guy. Is it really kinematic? He's just going to be following. Kinematic means I'm moving him by code. This is by parentage. And I can just freeze all of his rotations. Let me just try this just by freezing the rotations. Huh? Oh, yeah. That'd be fun. Camera just fell on my head. But I didn't make him kinematic like you suggested. I was trying to do it without it. So here we go. I feel like I've done this. This is a simple problem that I'm blanking on right now. So we'll come back to that. Anyway, there's a HUD. You can add lots of other stuff, other occlusion layers to what that camera's seeing. We could have just like a copy of your level, but with another like uncolored, unlit material on it, so it doesn't look as much of a like the actual level. You could add fog and all that kind of fun stuff. But that's the basic setup for a HUD camera. So, because I didn't sleep enough and derped around a lot, this ended up being a longer video. But we'll come back, and Thursday we'll refine this as far as rotation. We'll get the refined controllers, and then we'll look at security cameras that can render to world space in our scenes. So that's it for the week, as we're doing just camera stuff. Lots of different goofy camera stuff. Yay, fun.